左邊係呢位。
係你好嘅 TVB 嘅，想問下咧，就係因為而家咧其實確診嘅數字係回落緊啦，咁但係咧每日都仲係有新增緊一啲社區嘅檢測中心啦，咁佢哋嘅使用量其實都係越嚟越低嘅，同埋嗰流動檢測站都不斷加緊啦。咁其實點解會有咁樣嘅安排咧？咁呢個安排其實係咪即係有啲浪費公帑咧？咁同埋之後想問翻咧，就係之後社會有意見就認為咧，即係疫情緩和咗之後要成立個委員會去檢討政府應對危急管理機制係咪出咗問題啦？咁你哋同唔同意咧？會唔會有個咁樣嘅委員會咧？
三個問題。第一個問題咧係關於我哋嘅核酸檢測嚇。核酸檢測嘅需求當然隨住快速抗原檢測嘅普及咧係少咗嘅嚇。因為一般市民覺得我做快速抗原檢測又唔需要排隊，又唔需要預約，又唔需要攞籌。咁政府亦都承認呢個快速檢測嘅結果嚇，亦都係會經過一個程序之後咧，係確認佢都係一個檢測陽性亦都擺落啲數字，亦都會同樣俾佢嘅家居支援，或者係安排佢進入去呢啲社區嘅隔離設施。咁所以嗰個需求下跌係理所當然嘅嚇。咁但係我哋要保留呢個實力嚇。而家我每一樣嘅抗疫嘅能力咧，都希望係多過嗰個需求啊。病床我哋希望做到床等人，社區嘅隔離設施希望做到啲房等人，打針係針等人啊。所以同樣地咧，檢測嘅能力包括採樣同埋化驗所嘅能力咧，最好就喺度等緊你嚟想做嘅嚇。咁所以係過去呢半個月咧就早期都係停留喺12萬一日啦，咁最近就係到8萬度啦嚇，就係反映我頭先講嘅現象。咁但係食物及衛生局咧都係不斷調校嗰個嘅需求嘅嚇。咁最近咧就喺我哋睇完嗰個情況，同埋而家仲係有好好嘅能力去做核酸檢測咧，就食物及衛生局將會盡快就係重新做翻嗰啲叫 CTM。即係強制檢測公告，但係就唔係圍封嘅，係睇到譬如某一個群組或者某一啲大廈係會有風險咧，就會發一個CTN 強制檢測嘅公告，就請嗰啲市民咧就係去呢啲社區嘅檢測中心啦，或者係流動嘅採樣站嗰度咧嚟到去採樣嚇。咁呢個希望亦都可以更加廣泛睇到而家社區嗰個感染嘅情況啊。喺呢度我必須要感謝我哋幾個檢測嘅承辦商咧，喺我哋最困難嘅時候，即係嗰個供應係不足以應付嘅需求嘅時候咧，佢哋真係為我哋做咗大量嘅工作，引入呢啲氣膜嘅實驗室啊、火眼嘅實驗室啊，亦都係中央亦都係安排咗有啲內地嘅採樣人員嚟到幫我哋做嚇，令到我哋有呢個能力嚇。咁我哋必須要把呢個能力咧係用好，嚟到去透過核酸檢測咧，早發現喺社區仍然有嘅感染嘅個案。香港面對咁大嘅呢一波嘅疫情咧，當然有好多地方係需要係事後嚟到一個檢討嘅嚇。檢討嘅範圍咧，相信要非常之廣泛嚇。譬如我喺早前呢度都提過啦。即係今次長者成為咗第5波疫情裏邊，即係死亡個案嘅群組，都係值得我哋要詳細去檢視嚇。我哋嘅安老院嘅防護嘅設備措施，亦都係值得我哋去檢視。當然你話係喺整個嘅推動呢啲公共衛生嘅工作，等於喺沙士之後都做咗全面嘅各式各樣嘅檢視。從而亦都係執行咗一啲相當當時認為係需要嘅措施啦，包括成立咗呢個3層嘅應變嘅機制，就喺我哋今次啟動咗嘅3層嘅應變機制啦，亦都包括係成立咗喺瑪嘉烈醫院呢個感染控制中心。咁所以對於全面去檢視今次應對疫情嘅政府嘅行為又好，民間嘅行為又好，或者係機構嘅行為又好咧，我個人係持開放態度。
Sorry.
Good morning from the South China Morning Post. Mrs. Lam, why have the government policies been reactive rather than forward-looking, especially in terms of the cap on private household gatherings being implemented only after the Chinese New Year holiday, and potential changes to quarantine and flight bans only after massive brain drain and when Hong Kong's international status was at stake? And is there a roadmap for resuming normal living in the near future, or will all scheduled premises need to wait until at least after April 20th to reopen? Thank you.
Well, a few days ago, I think it's on Thursday, the 17th of March, I did acknowledge that although I said on the 22nd of February that all the control measures that were put in place, whether it's border control or social distancing or the suspension of face-to-face learning or class education, will last until the 20th of April, because nobody would imagine at that point in time that this very unprecedented, fierce fifth wave will subside within a short period. But having gone through a month and having gone through the peak that you have seen here, I think a responsible government should regularly and vigorously review these measures to see whether there is room for adjustment. I wouldn't promise now that there is room for adjustment, but following a review, we have the duty to account for the findings in this review and the direction that we will take. So you will have to wait until probably tomorrow when I present the findings of our 1-month review of the implementation of the various measures. I wouldn't readily accept that we are always lagging behind and not forward-looking. As the Secretary for Environment has illustrated to you, the extensive use of sewage testing is a very forward-looking measure. So instead of waiting for residents to be infected and then identified and then isolated and treated, on a very massive scale, we are surveilling the sewage of 5 million people for the last 1.5 years. It's costing quite a lot of money, I can tell you, but this is money worth spent in order to have a very good picture of the Hong Kong's virus situation. Now, the brain drain is caused by a lot of factors, and Hong Kong has gone through various stages of so-called brain drain or the loss of talents. But at the same time, we are also bringing in talents. I've been giving you figures under the quality admission scheme, where we have to double the annual quota twice in 2 years. So that proves that Hong Kong remains very attractive on a medium to long-term basis because of the abundant opportunities available to us under the 14th Five-Year Plan, under the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. But inevitably, some people will take a shorter-term view that they are worried that they could not travel, they are not happy that their kids could not go to school, and so on. But this is Hong Kong. We have freedom of movement, and people come in and go out as often as they would like. Now, I don't know whether I heard you accurately. You said we were late in putting in place the social distancing measures after the Chinese New Year. That was not accurate. We announced and put in place very severe and the most stringent social distancing measures on the 7th of January. And if you look at the chart, what happened in the 7th of January is only a sort of handful of cases. And at that time, I was being criticized and attacked for being sort of exaggerating the virus situation. Okay? The scheduled premises were all closed from the 7th of January, except the barber shops and hair salon. And evening dine-in was suspended from the 7th of January. That was well before the Chinese New Year, which fell on the 1st of February. So I'm very happy to answer questions, but you have to possess the facts in asking questions, if I heard you accurately. So this is, again, not a factually accurate comment, but it's duty-bound for me to clarify. But this has proven to be absolutely necessary. Although judging from the confirmed cases, people are still worried whether we have been infected. But you just imagine if we have not put in the social distancing measures, people still went out as frequently as they would like. They still have banquets and social interactions and so on. We could be facing a far worse situation. But the intervening Chinese New Year has been most unfortunate for Hong Kong because despite all the warning from myself, the Secretary for Food and Health, and all the social distancing measures, the reality is during the Chinese New Year, there have been a lot of cross-family gatherings. And as a result, this highly transmissible Omicron was spreading like fire. But now I hope that at least we could have seen the peak of the infections past, and it is for us to remain as vigilant as possible and try to suppress the epidemic as soon as possible. And when we are in a better position to assess the likely outcome of the wave, I have promised that we would devise a roadmap in anticipation of a future wave, whether it's of COVID-19 or another virus. Thank you.
好，下一位記者嘅提問。後排。